Did you know 42 years ago, July 15th, 1983, Sega released their first home computer, the SC-3000. And before that release, they caught wind that Nintendo was making something called the Famicom, and Sega wanted in on the piece of the home video game market that Nintendo was eyeing. And so they released a budget version of the SC-3000 called the SG-1000. It had a wired controller for player 1. Player 2, you could buy an extra controller. Player 2, you could buy an extra controller to plug in the player 2 slot. The player 2 slot was located on the right hand side, and player 1 was located on the left hand side. And later, Sega released a kit so you could open up the SG-1000, you could replace your attached controller with a dongle that would allow you to plug in a different controller. But here's a nice look at the SG-1000. There's the back of the unit, power, on off, auxiliary port, RF connection, and channel switcher. And it's low or high, not 3 or 4 like we're used to here in the States. The SG-200 was Sega's first attempt at releasing a controller for the system. You may have noticed the buttons are on the side, so you got button 1 and button 2, and then you've got your controller. Not the best controller ever invented, and I imagine there's plenty of these out there that have a broken stick if you could find them. Later on, Sega would release other controllers like the SJ-150 that had a round control pad and 2 oval buttons. The 150 would be followed by the 151 that has a circular control pad and circular buttons. 151. I don't think they produced that one very long because that one's a little bit more difficult to find. And then, along with the Mark III, they released the SJ-152. That had a rectangular control pad with rounded edges and circular buttons. And these are both attached to the second iteration of the SG-1000 called the SG-1000-2. As you notice, there is no slot for cards. So the games were cartridge, or you could buy a card catcher, because not only did the games come on cartridges, they came on little cards like Hero right here, which is an Activision game, but Sega got the rights to polish it for the SG-1000. And here's the adapter. The card goes in the top, put it in the cartridge slot. There you go, you had to play your card games. There was also an arcade style stick or joystick released called the SJ-300 and 300M. The only difference that I am aware of is the buttons here were either blue or like a maroon color. But you had a nice little control stick to play around with. Sega also released a couple other controllers, the Bike Handle 400 and the Steering Handle 400 for the SG-1000. Hang On 2 was released for the SG-1000, and there was a couple racing games. There was Zippy Race, which was actually a motorcycle game, but Super Racing or World Grand Prix that were released for the SG-1000. But they also released a graphic board that you would use a stylus to draw on the screen. And then there was also a keyboard, the SK-1100, that you would use, and that made your SG-1000 more like an SC-3000. Some other notable games other than Hero. That were released on the SG-1000 is Ninja Princess. Many would be familiar with this as the Ninja, but this is the original And Sega reskinned this for the Master System as the Ninja. Plays pretty much the same. You control the character, in this case it's the Ninja Princess. The screen scrolls up as you walk into it, and you defeat the enemies that come along your way. One of the first games released for it was Borderline. It's kind of like a Jackal game for the NES. You're riding in a Jeep. This one contains 4 different rounds. First round, you're driving up the screen and bombs or rockets are coming down at you. You shoot them and you get to the top and you clear out the path to make it to the next level, and then you go. Sega was big into the arcade game, and they ported a lot of arcade games over to the SG-1000 and the Master System. Another fun one is N-Sub. You're a submarine and you're on the bottom half of the screen, and you can move around and there's subs that will come after you, and you can shoot in front of you and up, and so you can take those out that way, but also on the surface you need to destroy those, and if you defeat enough you go to the next round and things get more and more complicated as you go. Girl's Garden is one that some people might be familiar with because this is the first game that Yuji Naka, the co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, worked on. And in this one, you play as the girl and you're trying to collect flowers to win the heart of your boyfriend back before he goes and wanders off to meet someone else. Seems like your boyfriend is a little fickle in this one and probably not worth the trouble, but you have to avoid the bears as you are collecting the flowers, and you only collect the flowers that are in bloom. If they're too young, you don't get any credit for it, and if they are dead or dying, you can actually lose one of your blossoms, or one of your flowers that has blossomed. So be careful, avoid the bears. There's also some bonus stages where you have to jump over bears. So watch out, because the bears are going to get you. The games and educational software that were released were playable both on the SC-3000 and the SG-1000. The Sega Computer 3000 is what the SC stands for, and Sega Game 1000 is what the SG-1000 stands for. So, July 15th, 42nd anniversary, 2025. Let's wish the SC-3000 and the SG-1000 happy birthday. Do you have any experience with the SG-1000? Have you played any of the games? Are there any that you particularly like? Maybe like Yamamoto, Black Onyx. Did you even know there was an SG-1000 or a Sega home console before the Master System? If you knew about the Master System. It's the SG-1000. So nice. Such smooth lines. It's a quite nice looking console, don't you think? Well, thanks everyone for watching. Hope everyone's having a good July, having a good summer. Everybody take care, have fun, be kind to one another, stay safe, keep it real, God bless, and we will catch you all later. Did you know, January 15th, 1983, 42 years ago, Sega released their first home console. This is a computer.